Welcome to the Plant-Based Morning Show, presented as always by Compliment. Lovecompliment.com is the place to go to get all those vegan provisions. Early in the week, I think I said that every vegan product in the world could be found there. And if not, just send me a message and I will set you up with an affiliate link that gives me a nice little kickback for that product. So that's what the show has become. Anyway, it's not Doug today with me, Matt Frazier. It is Isabelle Caputo, who many people will remember from the early days of the show. I mean, probably first like month or two of the show when we were still on Instagram, on that dinosaur of a platform instead of on Restream, which is much better now. So anyway, anyway, Isabelle, welcome to the show. Thank you for filling in for Doug while he skis.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not quite as cool as Doug. I think I'm quite as cool as Doug, but we'll see. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully I can fill his shoes.
I think you will be able to do that without a problem. I think you are quite as cool as Doug. And I don't know. What do you think about Doug taking his birthday's on Saturday, right? You know that? It's Saturday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Right. But so he couldn't wait till Saturday and Sunday and just have a weekend birthday. He had to go.
No.
He had to go on Wednesday. All the work had to be done on Wednesday night. Everyone had to wrap up their stuff so Doug could get out to ski.
He was already on the way last night. I messaged him for something. He's like, I'm already on the way. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's cool.
I didn't know that. All right. Well, people are filtering in, which is good. Good morning to Britters, Anne-Marie, Jeff Hudnall, Dale Stevens, Kate, a.k.a. Rivercat, Lady Draws a Lot, Stephen Dunn, and Jeff Hudnall. These are all the familiar names. Some of the familiar names. There are many more, but these names are all familiar. All right, Jeff Hudnall has got the important question here, and this is really what I think I wanted to lead the show off with. I'm not going to ask you to do 5 pull-ups, Isabelle, but the question is, could you do 5 pull-ups if you had to do them right this second? I know we'll talk about your racing and stuff, but you do CrossFit. Your baby's named, or your daughter's named Murphy, after a CrossFit person who had a workout name for them, right? Is that correct? Okay. So
yeah.
All right.
Mike
so can you do 5
yeah.
pull-ups? Because this is what Doug can't do. Doug cannot do 5 pull-ups.
I probably could do 5 pull-ups. Interesting story. I haven't done pull-ups because I work out at my home gym, if you will. And about probably 5 years ago, I had one of those pull-up bars that like hooked to the top of the door frame. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I was doing pull-ups and the door frame broke off. And and sliced me like right here down my face. So I have like a Harry Potter scar now. So I don't do pull-ups anymore because I'm terrified of them. unless it's like a solid bar. I do like band pull-ups now. So I can do 5 band pull-ups, but I haven't tested myself in a while. Got a little PTSD.
Did you have a lasting scar there from that?
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah. Wow, look at that.
Mm-hmm. It was awful.
I thought we'd get out of this.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny. I've never actually heard of those as seen on TV iron gym bars failing, but I guess it wasn't the bar that failed. It was your door frame.
It was the door frame. Yep.
Okay. And that's pretty hardcore though. You were doing pull-ups and pulled down your door frame.
Yeah. I don't know if I call it hardcore. It was traumatizing, but
Steven says that's a better excuse than Doug ever had, which I like. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Doug has for it's probably 3 years now, had every year a pull-up goal. He's going to do 5 pull-ups by the end of the year. And it always seems like if he would just start and actually stick to it, like it's impossible not to gain that strength, I think. But whatever it is, he won't stick to it. He starts messing with the workouts, messing with them, doing other stuff, putting in kettlebell things, and he just can't stick to the workout. So it's never happened. And I think it never will happen. I think he's given up too.
He's a runner like me, and we just like don't care about our upper bodies. It's just like, it'll take care of itself eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. But so, yes. So you are a runner as well. Last time you were on, I think we were talking about your 50K, I think. Does that seem right? Or was that before?
No, because yes, probably, actually. Yep.
Like you were training for it?
Yep, I didn't do one last year because I had a baby, and so I have a little baby, and that precluded me from being able to run long distances for a little bit. But I'm back now. I'm in training. He's old enough that I can do that.
Good. Look at you. So and you're not just training for not just another 50K, right? It's something even bigger.
Yeah. This is me committing to it. Yeah, I'm doing a 50K in June. And then my goal is to cross the 50 miler this year, which I haven't gotten quite that distance yet, which I'm really excited about.
I like it. Though, I think I actually think the jump from 50K to 50 miles is not that bad. I think if you can do 50K, you're already doing significantly more than a road marathon effort would be.
Yeah.
And I just think it's not that different.
Yeah.
You slow down a little bit, you walk a little more.
And it's trail, so trail you walk a ton in trail.
Yeah.
I walk a ton in trail, I should say.
Good. Well, good for you. Very impressive. Especially if you're doing this while you are also childbearing, on and off. So amazing. And that's why I think you're a great fit for No Meat Athlete Radio, which I'm excited. I've been talking about that. I've been hyping it up a little bit. We were supposed to do an episode last Friday. Didn't happen. We're supposed to do one tomorrow. It's already getting rescheduled, moved around. It's happening, but I think it's going to actually really happen. So that'll be good. Look forward to seeing you there and having you be a bigger part of that show. Yeah. So anyway, people, let me know if there are any audio issues today. I don't have headphones in because I really want to figure out if we can get away from doing them. And also, Isabel's on a phone. She doesn't have a microphone. We got to get a microphone for Isabelle to do No Meat.
I'm a newbie. Yeah.
That's okay. For a newbie, you sound pretty good. All right, real quick though, just circling back with these things. Britter says that's her nightmare with the TRX. Always think it's going to fail and I'll face it. Yeah, I've had some of those fears as well. Like if you're doing like the push-up thing on TRX where it's hanging from your door and you're doing push-ups, it's very scary that if it would just something would happen.
Just make sure it's like really, really secure. And here's what I learned. If you notice that the door frame's coming off a little bit, maybe stop doing it because it's probably not a good idea. Yeah,
they don't give a whole lot of like warnings about that. There aren't any like major things that say, if your door frame is weak, don't do that.
Yeah.
Also, if you put the TRX on a doorway, you got to make sure nobody opens the door. And they actually it comes with a little sign for the doorknob that says something like doing workout, don't enter or something.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. And let's see, Garuda Legends, who says poor Doug. Phyllis Hauser also said stop dissing Doug. He's not here to defend himself. Yeah, he's not. That's true. But
never.
He'll be back. And I mean, it's inexcusable. It's been all these years. Come on, Doug. Do the pull-ups. Garuda Legend says doing push-ups and sit-ups daily will help with the ability to do a pull-up. I have no idea if that's true or not, but I do think
makes sense.
I think a lot of people say that pull-ups can sort of come as a byproduct of just getting yourself into good shape. So that would kind of go with that.
I could see that.
Yeah. All right, let's see what else I got here today. We talked about Pullups Baseball Office. Isabel, are you aware of Superfan Office season 7 just dropped?
I sure am. Yeah, we don't get much time. I have 2 little kids, so we don't get much time to watch TV, but we have Peacock right now, and that is all that we are watching. There's Superfan episodes when we're able to.
Fantastic. That you and I share our love of The Office. You're the only one who gets my Office jokes and references, and I'm probably the one who gets yours during work things. But yeah, I'm only 4 episodes into 7 because one of my New Year's things with my daughter was we were going to watch from start to finish all the episodes. She's 10, but she loves it. It's like her, just her favorite thing. And so starting with the super fans, and then eventually we'll switch over because Peacock is really dripping out. I think they know that I'm going to cancel as soon as all the super fans are released. So they're just taking their time letting them come out. For those who don't know, super fan episodes on Peacock are you get bonus footage. You get more like, instead of like a 23 or 4 minute episode, you get 30, sometimes 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And the deleted scenes are they're all good. I mean, they're not terrible.
There's tons that I'm like, why did they delete that? This was fantastic. I think we're only on season 2. So we're slowly making our way in there. But so far, if you like The Office, highly recommend.
And then on my own, I was kind of wrapping up the 9th season because I always in my head think that the show's not good after Michael leaves, but they actually are pretty good. And they're kind of funny. And I've been trying to like watch that on my own. So I've done that on my own. And then now that season 7 came out and my son wanted to watch that with me. So I'm gonna have 3 different kind of Office things going on at once. But that's gonna be it. Once I'm done with these, I'm done. I need to like move on. I need to start watching like new movies and things and like other stuff.
I disagree. Just keep watching it over and over and over and over again. Yeah, true Office fans. That's what we do. Yeah,
right.
Just continue.
Right. All right. People say the audio is good, so thank you for that. Let's go ahead and jump into our weather report. As usual, I forgot to open the computer that has the weather report music, but hopefully that won't take long. All right, here we go. There it is. All right, here we go. Thursday, January 25th, your plant-based morning show weather report. There's a new documentary that is out. It's actually been out since the 23rd. It's called Feeding Tomorrow. It's on Amazon Prime and Apple TV. It's won multiple awards, including Best Feature Documentary at the Series Food Film Festival. It doesn't sound like any major event that I know of. And it focuses on food, climate change, and agriculture. Highlights the wretched state of American food system and how regenerative farming, plant-forward diets, healthier soil, and increased education can ensure a safe and sustainable future. I'm not going to be watching that one. Isabelle, are you? Is that what you're going to do this weekend? Fire that up with the family?
That sounds like a podcast that I would try to listen to when I'm like running or something.
Yeah.
But it sounds really interesting. It's one of those things that I'll like drag my feet, and then finally once I watch it, I'll be like, this is amazing. Why didn't I watch this forever ago? But that's my MO.
I can only watch so much of the things that the conclusion is always like, we're screwed. Like everything's terrible, and there's no fixing it. Like all we could do is hope for some sort of systemic change, and the documentary might help bring that about. But like I like stuff that gets me fired up to do something, and that doesn't. It just makes me depressed. So I don't watch that.
Yeah, I can understand that. Wretched state of the American food. It doesn't exactly like sell me on something that I want that I'll be excited by.
All right.
Although it's accurate.
I saw Mr. Jeffrey here. He is our resident Canadian, and new data from Sodexo Canada. That's the catering food company that do all the college campuses and things. They find that a huge proportion of Canadians, 74%, are unwilling to completely give up meat, much higher than the global average of 42%. And half of them, though, are interested in reducing animal proteins for plant proteins. I guess that means swapping. And 46% willing to reduce their intake of dairy products. So the message, says Sodexo, is you got to cater to the meat eaters with the vegan meats and things, because there's just not that many people who might be vegan. So anyway, not too much else to say.
Fascinating.
Yeah, I guess it is. The stats, I mean, I always put the stats in the weather report. Once you've heard enough of them, they just don't, they just go in one ear, not the other. I just read them, really. All right. In Germany, Infinite Roots, who used to be called Mush Labs, changed the name, thankfully, to Infinite Roots, and they've secured $58 million in funding for Europe's largest ever investment in mycelium. That is the roots of the mushroom, or of the fungus. I don't know which particular plant, but it's what Meaty Foods is made from. Meaty Foods is now available in Target. If you go to a super Target, you can get it. And I think that's the future of plant-based meats. Until the cell culture thing comes along, I think mycelium is our best bet. I think it's the least processed. I think it's the thing people can buy the story, as long as it doesn't make you puke. And it does make some people vomit, which is unfortunate because they have like an intolerance or something. You had Meaty Foods, Isabelle?
No, I haven't. I live in the middle of nowhere a little bit, so Target's quite far away. So I haven't tried that brand specifically, but now I want to, because I love mushrooms.
But it's not mushrooms. That's the thing. It's just the roots. So even people who like can't eat the mushroom fruiting bodies or whatever, they can eat this, unless you have the mycelium intolerance thing, which one of our listeners, Bianca, does. So after I recommended it, she puked it all up.
Oh, sorry, Bianca.
But I didn't know this about Infinite Roots. They partnered with Bitburger Brewing Group, and that's a huge German beer, Bitburger. They use byproducts from their beer to make edible fermented mycelium. So somehow they're using this stuff from the beer brewing to make the mushrooms, or make the mushroom stuff.
That's genius.
It is
genius.
Upcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. More international shout out. Steven, our resident Amsterdam, Netherlands guy, will care about this. Dutch Cultivated Meat Pork Company, Cultivated Pork Company, Meatable, has announced that they have submitted some kind of application to hold the country's first legally sanctioned cultivated meat tasting, and that will be of their pork. This comes just after this company or group called Cellular Agriculture Netherlands is now apparently says they're evaluating requests for cultivated meat and seafood tastings. And for those, Mosa Meat, who makes cultivated beef, and Upstream Foods, who makes cultivated salmon fat, they celebrated at the news that they could have tastings. Isabelle, are you more interested in cultivated pork, beef, chicken, or salmon fat?
To be honest, salmon fat sounds really unappealing. It's like, it's just the fat from the salmon, or is it the actual salmon that we're talking about?
I don't know why they would make salmon fat. I mean, it would be high in
Oh.
omega-3s for sure, and that would be a nice thing to have for vegan people, if you consider this to be vegan. So that could be good, but I don't think many people are like seeking the flavor of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like something that you use to cook. If anybody knows, I would love to know. Yeah, cultivated fat doesn't really appeal to me. I think the pork I would be most interested in, because I feel like we have a lot of beef alternatives, and I don't see as much, and chicken alternatives. And I know I make my own seitan chicken, which is on point now. So we've got that in our household, but yeah, not really any pork alternatives.
You're right. And this is of course the cultivated meat, which is like the lab grown, cell grown, like the basically real meat. But you're right, even among like the alternate meats made out of gluten and tofu and stuff, you don't really find many ham, pork things. I mean, there are, but they're not that often. Stephen wants to know the company. It's Meatable is the company that has submitted this dossier to hold the country's first tasting. The organization is Cellular Agriculture Netherlands. So Stephen, get on that tasting. Let us know how it is. Doug and I each predicted that we would get to try cultivated meat this year at the beginning of the year. We'll see if that's true. Would you, Isabelle, where do you stand on this? Like, would you be interested? Are you interested at all in cultivated meat, this cell grown, if it can be done humanely, like taking one time, a sample from an animal with a needle, or even off the fur or whatever, and then not grown in the serum or anything? Would you want this, or are you saying I'm just not interested in that?
I'm saying I'm not interested in it. It's been so long since I've had meat that I don't have any, it just doesn't appeal to me. Like, it's not something that I want to put in my body. And like, as you were describing that, like just a tiny cell taken from the hair or from the body, like, and then grown in a cell. I don't know, to me, I would rather just, have some carrots or apples or tofu or something grown in a lab just doesn't have the same appeal.
Well, you and Garuda Legends are on the same page, because Garuda says, do they pay you at least for being guinea pigs eating this lab slurry? Garuda Legends is not vegan and very much against lab grown things. And I understand, I do. But I must say, I'm curious about the cultivated meat. I doubt I would eat it on a consistent basis, but I'd be super curious to try it and just see. Honestly, as much as we joke about the fat, like I don't care about salmon fat. That's not going to help me. But if I could get cultivated like pork fat or something that would replace, like when you're supposed to start a recipe with prosciutto or pancetta, we don't have a vegan thing to get that. So if I had a cultivated way to get that, just little bits here and there, I'd be okay with that, as long as it was ethical and all that.
I would let you do it and then tell me how it is.
Yeah. Well, I will. I probably will.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Hormel Foods. I didn't realize Hormel had acquired Justin's brand, so I guess along with Chili, they're making those peanut butter cups. But now Justin's is taking on M&Ms with better for you ingredients, and this apparently is Justin's first launch since those peanut butter cups in 2011, or the first major confections launch since then. They're making dark chocolate peanut and dark chocolate peanut butter candy pieces with a crunchy candy shell. I don't know why the peanut butter, like M&Ms to me are just chocolate. I know there's peanut M&Ms, which I never really liked. And I know there was also peanut butter M&Ms for a little while, and I'm sure they exist. I don't know why they're not just making the regular M&Ms, because that's what I'd be interested in.
I guess that's true. Why make it more difficult with the peanut butter ones?
Maybe because they're already experts I guess because peanut butter chocolate combination.
Well, and there's lots of dark chocolate candies that I think already exist. This is probably this is a step up.
That's true. And there is definitely, I don't know if it's Justin's, it must not be Justin's, but there is a vegan M&M clone you can get, like at the Whole Foods checkout line. I forget the name of the company. But anyway, this will be available at Whole Foods, Amazon, the Fresh Market, and Stop and Shop later this month. So that's coming soon. And other retailers expected to be added later this year. I mean, this month, it's only 6 days left till January ends. So I guess start looking. And finally, there's been a bunch of vegan closures and shutterings and going out of businesses and bankruptcies, but In-N-Out is they're closing their first store location ever, but they're blaming crime. in Oakland, California. So not shocking. I think it is kind of a crime area over there. Maybe that's unfair, but anyway, there you go. There's your weather report. Britters says that Unreal, that's the company. Unreal already makes dark chocolate M&Ms, and they're good. There's also Unreal Deli, and I never realized that it's the same name because that's not the same company, I don't think. But yeah, those things are pretty good. And Dale says, Isabelle, how long did it take to perfect your seitan recipe? Any tips? I bought stuff to try my first batch, and I'm hoping for the best.
It took me a while, and bless my family for being willing to be my taste testers. I think for the chicken sandwich that I made, probably took me like 6 or 7 batches. Steaming is super important. Don't actually skip that step.
You gotta steam
super
it
important because
right?
yeah, that's what actually gives it like the texture. And the biggest trick that I found is put it in the fridge or the freezer for at least like overnight, and then make it the next day. That gives it an even like denser texture. If you just turn it right around, it's still kind of liquidy
and spongy.
And press it.
So you're saying, okay, hold on. You're saying put it in the fridge after the mixing of it step before you steam it, or after the steaming before you use it?
So steam it and then smush out the liquid, then put it in the fridge or the freezer, and then at least one night, and then use it like the next day. Or if you put it in the freezer, you can use it obviously way later, but that makes it even more dense. Yeah. And my husband is still like partial meat eater. He says he's like 95% vegan because he eats my food, and we like our household is vegan. And he gave it the stamp of the approval.
Look at that.
Buffalo chicken sandwich. Yeah. He was like, this is great. I don't need anything else.
Man, that's good. Way to go. I mean, a seitan chicken sandwich is really good when are you frying it like chicken? Like you putting breading and all that?
I don't, because I just can't get myself down with putting oil in a pan and frying stuff in it. I just, for some reason, that doesn't do it. So I put just like a little spray of oil down and then bake it and flip it with a spray of oil. So less oil. Yeah. Yep. Still do like a dredge and then some breadcrumbs. Or
I'm gonna have to come over sometime. Bring some buffalo sauce and I'll have a nice little sandwich. I have found with seitan, the amount of water that you put in is like the major X factor. And I guess you could say the same about the amount of wheat gluten. But to me, that you start with wheat gluten, you start adding water, and if you put too much, it gets really spongy and gooey, like you said. It's just not that good. If you put too little, it can be too chewy. So I think that's like the experimenting. You have to get that water ratio right, and you're not going to know until you do it because the recipes are different, right? Your kitchen humidity is going to be different, so you just gotta go for it. And when you smash it? What do you mean you smash it? Like put it under a brick or something, or in a tofu press?
I don't have a tofu press. I use cookbooks for everything. I have like I love cookbooks. So I just put it on like a wire rack on a pan, and then I put another pan, and then I just shove a bunch of cookbooks on top and let it sit.
There we go. In the refrigerator, you put cookbooks?
No, I do that on the counter for like, half an hour, maybe an hour, and then in the fridge.
You got to get a tofu press. Just like Doug. Doug got one, and now he was against them, and then he got one, and now he's a fan.
I know, but I got the right container. I know how many cookbooks go on top. I got it settled. But I do see them, and it does get so much more water out. But
all right, good to know. Who would have thought we get a little seitan lesson? But thank you, Dale, for the question. All right, big story today. This is actually kind of big news. I get this from the Independent. Actually, I first found it in Daily Mail, who's like notoriously anti-vegan with their headlines. And they always capitalize, something to make it shocking. Their headline of this says, "Forget hunter-gatherers," in quotes. "Early humans should be known as gatherer-hunters because they were mostly, all caps, vegetarian," study claims. So that's interesting. I don't know what Daily Mail is doing. I mean, they are constantly bashing vegan diet. So I'm surprised that they kind of play this up the way they do. They start off by saying, "Talk of early humans conjures up images of cavemen sat around a fire chewing meat off the bone, but often use description of hunter-gatherers should be changed to gatherer-hunters because early human diets were actually 80% vegetables." And that's what the research is. I mean, what's surprising there is that they're generalizing like that and saying early human diets were actually, because it's not true. It's just this one place in the Andes Mountains, I think it's Peru, where they looked at remains of 24 individuals, and they found exactly this. I think I read in a different site that somewhere, but they were estimating between 75 and 95% of the diet was plants based on what they found with the bones and the teeth and all this stuff. So it's interesting. I mean, it's one pocket. It doesn't mean it's everywhere, but I guess for me, like, this is cool. And by the way, this was 9,000 years ago. That's where they think, when they think these things were from, these bodies. Paleo, the actual Paleo period, I looked this up, ended in 10,000 BC. So that would have been about 12,000 years ago. So this is a little bit after that. We can't say this is Paleo, but likely they were eating the same way as they had been before that. So anyway, I mean, this is cool, I guess. Like, this is interesting. And it's going to be ammunition. Veg News is going to put it in there now, I'm sure, and talk about how we actually were this. Paleo diet's actually this. I just kind of feel like we already knew this. Like, I feel like I've heard this exact thing before. People saying they should actually be called gatherer hunters instead of hunter gatherers. For exactly this reason, that they did hunt and they did eat meat, but like, I guess it wasn't quite reliable enough or whatever to be the main calorie source. So I don't know. I think it's cool. It's good to see this, but it's like, it just doesn't seem that new to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I kind of thought we all knew this already too. Like, it's just logical that, like, if you look outside, like right now outside, I see a bunch of vegetation, but I don't see any animals. And like, there's just so much more vegetation available now back then than there was, animals. And it's so much easier for people to just, go outside and start, digging things up, foraging, doing what they're doing versus like going all the way to go hunt buffalo or whatever they were hunting. So to me, I'm like, I kind of thought we knew this already too.
Yeah,
it just
and I'm thinking maybe somehow, like, it was the theory, and also, like, admittedly, it could have been the theory that we just heard because we listened to vegan people and they were the ones who theorized this and popularized this idea that possibly it was gatherer hunters instead of hunter gatherers. So maybe this is like the first specific evidence that actually was the case. I don't know. I remember a few years back there was like they were finding barley and other things like that in the teeth fragments, and it was sort of proof that the Paleos at least ate some grains, or Paleolithic people ate some grains, but it wasn't quite as significant or substantial as this, saying 80% of the diet was plant-based. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, this to me, it backs up. Like, we see the diets that are popular year after year these days are like these Mediterranean, flexitarian. Even as interest in pure veganism seems to wane, who knows if that's because of nutrition or because of political stuff, but at least in the United States, veganism itself is on decline. But I think these other things, sort of plant forward diets with some meat, are on the rise. So I don't know. I mean, this kind of backs that up a little bit and says that's maybe how we are meant to be eating. The other thing I thought about this is, like, this is one pocket in the world, like I said, but I just think, I don't know, like, they'll probably find something different in other places in the world. Nowadays, everybody's genes are mixed. Not everybody's, but a lot of people are from all over the place. So I just have the sense that, like, we're not really meant to eat any one way. Like, we can do a lot of things. If you have to eat, as people do on the internet, if you have to eat all meat, you can live for a while that way, and you can do the same thing eating all vegan. You can do the same thing eating all raw. Like, you can do different things, but you don't have to do any one of them, is what it seems to be to me.
I think Mr. Jeffrey just brought up a good point that this article also mentioned too, was that they said basically, like, the people who have been doing research on these things have been male researchers, and so like there's also this whole kind of like gender piece that they're talking about. And Mr. Jeffrey just said, men were the hunters, women were the gatherers. And so, like, is that why we've always organized it that way? Because it's also, a male predominant world that has been developing too. So that's a really interesting point.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. They said typically this archaeology has been done by men. They might like to promote the idea that hunting, this masculine activity, was the first and foremost thing. But this says perhaps that is not what went on. So there you go. I don't know if this will be the end of the paleo diets. I have a feeling it will not. I think that will probably persist. But this is good to me. This is unifying. This means lots of plants, a little bit of meat. It's okay, which tells me that whole food diets regardless of the mix, precisely, it's a good thing. They weren't eating UPF, no ultra processed food in those days that I know of. But we'll be talking in just a few minutes about pretzels, and that's plenty of ultra processed food there. So I'm just looking to see if anybody else wrote anything. No, not really. Okay, on to the pretzels, which we've all been waiting for. This has been, as we know, this has been a controversy in my household, the pretzel consumption. I banned the pretzels from the house a few months ago. They made their way back in, and now it's under control. In fact, family's starting a no sugar challenge beginning today, actually, which I guess won't affect the pretzels.
Very exciting,
but it will affect sugar. Anyway, on Thursdays when there's not that much news, like today, we like to do things from Eat This, Not That. And today, the 8 healthiest pretzels at the grocery store and 2 to avoid. We'll look at those really quickly here. I don't think we need to go through this entire list. Number 1, and this is UPF, so I'm surprised. Number 1 in the best category, because they do give a couple of bad ones. Fit Joy pretzels. They're grain-free pretzels with sea salt, gluten-free, nut-free, dairy-free, and I don't know if this is a ranking or if they're just one of the 8 best that they list here, but I looked at the ingredients because how can you have a grain-free pretzel? What would that be? And it turns out what Fit Joy is made of is cassava flour, potato starch, chickpea flour, high oleic sunflower oil, tapioca starch, chickpea protein, salt, date nectar, yeast, sunflower oil, lecithin. So I guess I'm just Matt Tolman and I did an episode. I think I published it yesterday on No Meat Athlete Radio. It's kind of the new Outlier Health podcast that is on that feed right now. So go over there, No Meat Athlete Radio, if you'd like to hear us talk about ultra processed food. But we kind of had this debate, and we said, is this healthier than just sourdough pretzels? Assuming it's not ultra processed food, doesn't have preservatives and stuff. Is all this mix of starches and flours better than that?
I personally don't think so. I am a, back to the basics kind of gal. And if I read all of that, I would be questioning it. I question a lot, no offense to anybody who's gluten-free, but I question a lot of gluten-free stuff, because what else are we packing into this? What makes it a pretzel? And I'm don't we just need, flour, water? That's all you use to make pretzels. So why do we need all this other?
Right. Yeah, stuff? I know. It's an attempt to be healthier in some ways. But when you start doing this, it just, I don't know. To me, it undermines kind of the integrity and the history, right? People have for hundreds of years been eating good old regular pretzels. It doesn't mean that they're the staple of the diet. If that's the reason people haven't died young. I just don't know if this is an improvement.
Pretzels.
I don't know. So I'm sticking with regular pretzels over this. All right, a couple other ones. Roasted garlic and herb. This is called Savor by Susie. Again, grain free is going in the top here. I suppose if you are a gluten-free person, if you actually do need to be gluten-free, then obviously you want that. But going all the way grain-free, that's a paleo move. We don't need paleo's out now as far as archaeologists are concerned. Next, Beyond Twists, low carb pretzels. So same theme here. They're sourced from pea and wheat protein. Again, I just think good old ground flour, especially if you can do sourdough and get some bacteria in there. Even better.
Yeah.
Number 4, cauliflower pretzels. So this is intriguing. Now we're putting vegetables in, and that could be a good thing.
It's kind of good.
Vegetable blend of spinach, broccoli, carrot, tomato, beet, and shiitake mushroom. But we promise you can't taste the veggie medley, they say. So I don't know. I guess if you start adding in vegetables, you potentially could make something healthier. But I don't know. Don't think so.
Yeah, just because you shove vegetables in it doesn't mean that it's going to be better. You can shove a bunch of stuff in there with the vegetables.
Yeah, and often when the vegetables go in, a lot I think is lost in the process that to make the paste or whatever they're making that they use. The Snack Factory pretzel crisps, these really thin things that I see everywhere. Those are on the list, and I actually like those. I think those are better than regular pretzels.
I like those too.
They have more of the brown part. That's where all the vitamins are, I think, in the pretzel, right? In the brown skin.
I've never heard that before.
I think so. It was a joke. Wisp cheese.
Where did that come?
Wisp cheese and pretzel crisps with cheddar is on here. And then 365 Whole Foods pretzels, just good old regular pretzels from Whole Foods. 2 grams of fiber, 3 grams of protein, very little fat, of course, and no added sugar. They do contain soybean oil. So this is pretty close to like the pretzels we were talking about, homemade sort of thing, but it does have soybean oil. So yeah, this is probably what I'd pick over any of those other things. And then more pretzel crisp. All right, here's the worst. Unique Snacks extra salt splits. I think I've had these before, and they're really good.
I'm sure it's because of the salt.
Extra salt.
It's because there's so much sodium. Yeah.
They have almost 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving, which that's 3 pretzels. 3 pretzels give you 1,000 milligrams, which is a lot. That's like, I think the daily allowance is 2,000 milligrams or so. And I think if you were to eat like regular Whole Foods without salt, any salt added to them, I think automatically you're getting something like 600 milligrams. So 1,000, you know, if you're already eating a lot of salt, 1,000 extra is a big amount. But those are good. I mean, I don't know I don't think I've had the extra salt ones, but the splits, which I don't even know do you know what pretzel splits are?
No. Are they just split or what?
It's like
what's
as if they
about them?
split the pretzel like
in half,
but in half front to back, so that you get sort of like a rough side. I don't know. Someone probably can tell us what pretzel splits are. Someone in the audience.
Yeah, someone explain.
They're just really good. They seem to have like more crust on them in some way.
Are they just thinner, like the pretzel thins?
They're not that though. They're still just regular pretzels. It's just like a half a pretzel. I don't know. Someone I'm sure can tell us what pretzel splits are. Mr. Jeffrey says he wants to sign me up for a pretzel subscription. Yeah, that'd be good. Get my house a bunch of pretzels. You know what? I used to love those honey mustard onion pretzels or whatever that flavor. What those yellow ones?
Oh,
I used to eat a ton of those if I got a bag of them. I mean, I would just go to town playing video games and eating those.
Yeah, those were good. Yeah.
All right, and this is a surprise. Utz sourdough special is the worst. One of the worst. Well, it seems like this is a long lost recipe from the old country, they say. So it seems like it should be healthier, which was kind of our thesis. But it's the sodium. It's 450 milligrams of sodium again in 5 pretzels per 110 calories. Yeah, that's a lot of. I mean, there's a ton of salt. I actually didn't think. I wonder how much of that salt is the salt that's on the surface of the pretzel and how much is in it. Because I kind of thought like,
that's a good question.
Yeah, if you go out to restaurants, there's all this hidden salt in the food. But if you're like just putting salt yourself at home, you're not really going to get an overdose of it. But this sort of seems like someone just sprinkled some salt on there at home. So I don't know why it would be so much, but I wonder if it's in there or maybe just like those big.
It's probably, yeah. Yeah, it's probably in the dough. This ranking all seems to be about sodium.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the site is not exactly a primetime health resource.
Peer-reviewed resources.
There's a check at the top, expert recommended, not expert reviewed or anything, but an expert did recommend this article, I guess. So that's something. And it's fact checked too.
Fact.
So we got all the signals here of a valid, trustworthy article. But yeah, so salt's your problem with the pretzels. Actually, that's never been, I don't know, when I told that family we got to stop eating so many pretzels, it was more about the white flour than the salt. But because I eat more salt than most people do in our house.
You gotta make your own soft pretzels. Then that's where it is. Yeah, I'm a sourdough gal, and so I make sourdough pretzels. Yeah, they are amazing.
My wife Erin is a sourdough person. She made a sourdough just yesterday, actually. But I think she had pretzels once. I don't remember any hard pretzels. Do you make hard sourdough pretzels? Yeah.
No soft ones. Yeah, I don't know how to make hard. I'm assuming you just bake them probably longer. I've never tried. Now I'll have to put that on my list.
You add a whole bunch of salt to the dough and then you bake them.
Probably tons of salt. That's the solution.
All right. Mr. Jeffrey and Garuda Legends are having a little back and forth here about the paleo diet, and that's expected. And I like to see it, but anyway, I'm not going to go into all that right now. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we're done. So we're a little bit early today, but not much. We kind of on a relatively slow news day. We got 41 minutes in. Any good plans this weekend, Isabelle? I mean, I'll see you tomorrow for the No Meat Athlete recording, and we'll publish that. That might go up.
Yeah,
it may go up tomorrow. It may go up Monday. But if you go over listening to this show, if you go over to the No Meat Athlete radio feed, that's where you will get that episode and many more. And eventually, I think these plant-based morning shows are going to be on that feed too. So you might as well go sign up on that one. if you don't want to miss stuff. So do that. Get there in time for Isabelle's episode tomorrow. Matt Tolman and I, like I said, put up the ultra processed food episode yesterday. So lots of good stuff coming out of this content factory of ours. So you should be glad you're here.
Yeah.
So any plans, Isabelle?
Yeah,
Anything
very
going on?
exciting. No, nothing too exciting other than some long runs.
Oh, yeah?
10 miles. Yeah, 10 miles on Saturday. Got another one today too, but that's about it. Probably setting up my daughter's new bed, which is very
Nice
exciting. The little guy's taking over. Yep, taking over the crib. We got a big girl bed for the little one. Very exciting. Yeah, how about you?
What am I doing? I'm probably watching soccer. I'm actually not. My son has an away game, so he will be traveling with the team for that to Atlanta. I will be at home, not doing that.
Nice.
I don't know what I will do, actually. But I was like, when you talk about a first 50 miler, that is exciting to me. First time doing something fun, exciting, good. I don't miss a 10-mile long run on a Saturday one bit. Not a bit. I know some runners actually like their long runs, and they say, I like getting out there for the time, get to listen to some podcasts. I can think of almost nothing I would rather not do than that on a Saturday morning when I could be drinking coffee, doing a crossword puzzle, reading a book, watching a soccer game.
I love all of those things too, but I'm a big fan. I have two very young kids, so like getting out and getting some actual time for mom and getting to actually listen to a podcast.
Kevin a little free time. Since you're going to be off running anyway, doing a mindless activity, why don't you just bring the kids?
Yeah, but I live in the mountains. The stroller is I do hills constantly. Yeah. Like, so taking a stroller is a whole nother workout. I do love the running stroller, and I do enjoy doing that. My daughter,
I do that.
Yeah, it's awful.
It was different kind of workout.
Oh yeah, it's a tough one, that's for sure. Maybe I'll take it out now that you've inspired.
Yeah, tell Kevin I
give my husband a break.
No, I'm just kidding, of course. And honestly, if I was doing a weekend long run, that is the last thing I would do is bring the stroller, because I just don't need another thing to make me hate this. Plus the potential.
Yeah, I'm already running 10 miles. I don't need to push the stroller at this.
Do your run, listen to your podcast or this documentary, whatever it's called, Looking for Tomorrow or something. You could listen to that while you run.
That's true. How did you know? That's exactly what I'm going to do.
All right.
More to come.
People are saying they have enjoyed having you on here, Isabelle. So thank you guys, Stephen, Dale, and Marie, everybody, for coming. Everyone else, of course, as well. Mr. Jeffrey, Garuda Legends, appreciate the conversation. My mom is here. Good to see you, Mom, again. Yeah, all good. So thanks, everyone. That's it. I got nothing else. We will see you Tuesday. Doug will be back. We'll hear about skiing, and I'll tell him that you said you could do the pull-ups.